I'm just be here next week. Go back to a new regular show review. And if you guys last one, go and check it out. And we are back with the next two episodes of season 7 of regular show. And we start with another interesting one, and it starts with this band that is being shown on TV, and that they are going to be interviewed by Channel 6. And yeah, of course, Mordecai and Rigby are excited for this and going to be going and attending. And Margaret was actually able to give them these passes as well. And then that freak scientist and the eye patch comes over to them and tells them about this cart that they managed to take and to showing all these different photos. And of course, yeah, Benson isn't really pleased with this. And then he declares a 24-hour lockdown. Mordecai and Rigby to not leave the house, and if they do, then he will have no choice but to fire Benson. Like, this freak, though, this freak scientist with that eye patch is something else. Like, all of those scientists, I would say. This whole dome thing as well is really not necessary, I would say. And yeah, again, just yelling at Benson, like, yeah, this is just again, I would want to do something to that guy, that eye patch freak. That's an appropriate name I have for him. And yeah, of course, Benson gets angry with Mordecai and Rigby and tells him to go inside. And yeah, that night he's watching the door and saying that nobody's going to get past him. And Pops is actually willing to help Mordecai and Rigby and playing very badly with this instrument. And yeah, they managed to get past Benson and make it to the area. And yeah, they see the band members coming in a really cool way. And yeah, Benson then goes into Mordecai and Rigby's room and opens the door. And yeah, we actually see that it's just props. Managed to do props. And with this with this machine that is just playing their snoring. And yeah, Margaret is on live and at the event or at the station and going to the guy that we've seen before going to do the interview with the band members. And yeah, then they overhear Mordecai and Rigby, and they're like, finally, some like actual questions when they're just thinking like those other things weren't actual questions, and they're like just saying about actual questions. They're like, yeah, finally, some actual questions they're actually wanting to do. And yeah, Benson is just still watching the door, and he's just, again, just basically upset. Like, saying of how Mordecai and Rigby saying that even though Benson is their boss, he's not able to do anything without those scientists. And Skips is like, I think you're not really mad at Mordecai and Rigby, but so much that freak and the eye patch, right? Just because of how he's checking over this whole thing. And yeah, Benson gets a call or a message of that he's having to go to the gate. And yeah, they say Skips then turns the channel and says the band members in Mordecai and Rigby, and then he quickly changes the channel to this pizza commercial. And of course, Benson is like, "What was that?" And yeah, of course, Skips is like, "They have really done it this time." And yeah, they really thank Mordecai and Rigby for those questions, and they actually invite them to go into their aircraft. And yeah, Benson says that there's a rock where the opening of the gate is, and of course he's furious. And yeah, Pops seeing through the binoculars, saying that Benson has found out, and yeah, they're chilling with them and doing this cool trick, which yeah, they all are celebrating with. And Pops calls Mordecai and Rigby saying that they're going to be found out, or Benson's going to be on to them, and yeah, they're going to have to make it back. And yeah, he kicks the door and sees Pops carrying those dummies that were posing as Mordecai and Rigby, and sees the machine as well. And yeah, having to put on these suits for them to glide down, but it ended up not going well. And then they go into this weird like area and sees this weird science guy that we've seen before, but this time it's all chained up. And then bumps into Benson, and yeah, that freak scientist then coming and blaming Benson like, I told you to keep them into the dome in 24 hours in the house, and you couldn't even do that. And then Benson actually gets on to him, like, finally, like, shut that guy up. Yeah, talk back to that science guy, and says that nobody fires Mordecai Rigby but me. And again, just making that guy fall into the ground, like, thank you. And even damaging his jetpack as well. And yeah, Mordecai and Rigby are sorry to Benson. And of course, he doesn't fire them, but tells them to take off those outfits. And that freak scientist, yet again, saying that they're on, like they're giving this call and saying of how he's going to the hospital as well. Like, this guy, though, he is just not giving up. And then we go to the next episode, and it's another interesting one. And it starts with Mordecai and Rigby and Muscle Man and High Five Ghost at Cheezer's, and yeah, they talk about Rigby's hands, and apparently when he was trying to get the cheese off of his hands, this lady tells him that those are just for VIPs, and we see this astronaut yet again. We know, right? We know that astronauts apparently can cut in line at Cheezer's, and yep, they are VIPs. And getting this merch as well, and tater tots and really cool stuff. And yeah, the lady explains that when you're a VIP, you can go into this VIP room, and even prices get lower at the gift shop as well. And again, get some tater tots too. And even trying this new sandwich as well, which is only VIPs and only are not being released to the public. And yeah, of course, the guys huddle up and they're like, we have to become VIPs to get that sandwich. And yeah, this astronaut is just bragging. This astronaut is just bragging. Goes over to Muscle Man and the others and is just licking his lips after chewing on that sandwich. And of course, they're drolling, just wanting that sandwich. Like, yeah, that astronaut went over to them on purpose just to brag, saying of how good this sandwich is. And yeah, they have to get over to a computer, and yeah, of course they're waiting for Pops. Was he was just changing the wallpaper to a hummingbird, and yeah, they finished the the work that they had to do, and then having to put up these different fires on the cars, which they do, and then having to do other different tasks. Yeah, this lady is just giving them different tasks that feels like chores. And of course, they see the astronauts just eating, and they're wondering if there's even more. And yeah, she says that there is more to do. Like, this lady, though, this lady is just putting them, again, this is basically just chores. Like, these employees just don't want to get off their lazy butts to do the chores for them, or the actual chores. And then they see this astronaut that is saying that she's playing them for fools, and there is another way to become VIPs and to meet them very early in the morning, and when the sun hasn't come up yet. And yeah, they see all these different spacecraft things that you would say satellite things, and meeting that mysterious astronaut through this door, and this area with these astronauts, and they're telling them to eat the sandwich. And yeah, Rigby eats it, but it wasn't for them. It was for this monster that they end up falling down this hole, and they have to defeat this monster. And yeah, they're dodging the attacks and using this American flag cannon as well, which is pretty funny. And then using this jetpack, which of course doesn't carry all of them. And Muscle Man and High Five goes distracting the monster. And yeah, we see that one of the things is loose, which Rigby shoots it, and it crushes the monster, taking it out. And they all celebrate Mordecai, Rigby, Muscle Man, and High Five Ghost. And yeah, the mysterious astronaut was actually that lady that just kept giving them different chores. And apparently she was the monster the whole time too. Like what? Yeah, she was both of them. And anyway, they do end up celebrating, and yeah, they just enjoyed the moment on eating their sandwiches. And yeah, Rigby was telling Eileen about the experience. But yeah, very interesting episodes, I would say. But yeah, I'd like to know what y'all think. Catch you next one.